When news first broke that Japanese slugger Munetaka Murakami could be exploring a potential move to Major League Baseball, excitement rippled through the baseball world. The 24-year-old Tokyo Yakult Swallows superstar has already made a name for himself as one of Japan's most powerful hitters, often compared to legends like Hideki Matsui and Sadaharu Oh. His record-breaking 56 home runs in 2022 had scouts from across MLB buzzing with curiosity, wondering when this young power machine would bring his talents overseas. However, as soon as whispers linked him to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the same team that currently features Shohei Ohtani, the conversation quickly shifted from excitement to concern. At first glance, the Dodgers might seem like the dream landing spot for any Japanese player. The team's global reputation, its strong connection to Japanese baseball history, and the presence of Ohtani make it an appealing destination. But beneath that glittering surface, baseball analysts began pointing out that Los Angeles might not be the most suitable fit for Murakami's particular skill set. In fact, some American media outlets have gone so far as to label the Dodgers a bad fit for him, not because of talent, but because of the team's current structure and lineup realities. One of the main reasons critics believe the Dodgers aren't an ideal match for Murakami lies in the position logjam that already exists on the roster. The power positions, first base and designated hitter, are already occupied by none other than Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani. Freeman is one of MLB's most consistent and reliable hitters, an MVP-caliber performer who shows no sign of slowing down. Ohtani, on the other hand, is the face of baseball, expected to spend the majority of his time as the team's DH while he recovers from his elbow surgery and eventually returns to pitching. With both of those roles solidly filled, it's hard to see where Murakami would fit in. Defensively, Murakami has spent most of his NPB career at third base, but even that presents challenges. The Dodgers already have several capable infielders, including Max Muncy and young prospects who are vying for future roles. Muncy may not be a Gold Glover, but his offensive contributions make him a valuable part of the lineup, and the Dodgers have shown loyalty to players who've helped anchor their batting order. Bringing in Murakami, whose defensive ability at third base is still considered below average by MLB standards, could create more problems than it solves. American analysts have also pointed out that Murakami's transition to MLB pitching won't be as smooth as many Japanese hitters before him. While his raw power is undeniable, his swing mechanics are built around timing and leverage, skills that might need major adjustments when facing the elite velocity and movement of MLB pitchers. Scouts have noted his tendency to chase breaking balls and struggle with high fastballs, a weakness that could be exploited in the majors. Without a clear defensive role and with potential hitting adjustments ahead, joining a team as loaded as the Dodgers could stunt his development rather than accelerate it. Another issue is market pressure. The Dodgers are not just any team, they're one of the most scrutinized franchises in the world. Every move they make is analyzed, every player is under a microscope, and expectations are sky high. For a young Japanese star trying to adjust to a new culture, new language, and a completely different style of baseball, that kind of spotlight can be overwhelming. Even Shohei Ohtani, who handles pressure with poise, faced enormous media attention upon joining the team. For Murakami, who has yet to experience life outside Japan's NPB system, that same intensity could become a major distraction. Cultural fit is another factor often overlooked. Ohtani's success has come not just from his physical talent, but from his disciplined, almost robotic approach to the game, a mindset perfectly aligned with the Dodgers' meticulous, analytics-driven culture. Murakami, on the other hand, has been described as more emotional and free-spirited. He thrives on energy, motivation, and rhythm, qualities that have helped him dominate in Japan but might not immediately mesh with Los Angeles' data-heavy philosophy. The Dodgers are known for strict platoon strategies, batting order shuffles, and reliance on matchups, something Murakami might find unsettling at first. Then there's the financial aspect. Murakami will likely command a massive posting fee and a long-term contract worth tens of millions. The Dodgers, after committing over $700 million to Ohtani and carrying large deals for Freeman and Mookie Betts, may not have the flexibility or appetite to invest heavily in another star hitter who doesn't fill an immediate positional need. From a pure business perspective, the move doesn't make much sense right now, especially when their focus remains on maintaining a balanced roster around their existing core. Media outlets like The Athletic and Dodgers Nation have echoed this sentiment, emphasizing that while Murakami's talent is undeniable, Los Angeles simply isn't the best landing spot for him. They argue that his best chance at success might lie with a team that can offer him everyday playing time at his natural position, or perhaps even let him experiment between first base and third without the immense pressure of competing with two MVPs for at-bats. Teams like the Chicago Cubs, Seattle Mariners, or even the San Francisco Giants could present more realistic and beneficial environments for his growth. The comparison with Ohtani is inevitable, of course. Both are Japanese phenoms with massive power and star appeal. However, their paths and personalities differ drastically. Ohtani is a generational two-way player whose disciplined approach made him tailor-made for the MLB system. Murakami, though equally gifted at the plate, will face a steeper adjustment curve. His success in Japan was built on rhythm and repetition, facing the same pitchers multiple times throughout a season. In MLB, where scouting reports are deep and pitching styles more diverse, that advantage disappears. Dodgers fans might dream of seeing two Japanese superstars, Ohtani and Murakami, in the same lineup, creating a cultural and marketing juggernaut that could dominate headlines worldwide. But baseball decisions can't be made on headlines alone. The fit has to work on the field, and at present, it simply doesn't. Having two left-handed sluggers who both prefer first base or DH could make the lineup redundant, reducing flexibility and forcing the manager into tough decisions almost daily. It's also worth noting that the Dodgers' long-term plan revolves around versatility. Players like Betts have shifted to the infield, and prospects like Miguel Vargas and Michael Busch are being groomed for hybrid roles. Bringing in a player with limited defensive flexibility contradicts that strategic vision. Even if Murakami's bat proves MLB ready, the Dodgers are unlikely to compromise their roster balance to accommodate another left-handed power bat. From Murakami's perspective, joining a slightly smaller market team might actually be better for his adaptation. Think about how players like Seiya Suzuki have adjusted in Chicago, or how Sho Nakata might benefit from a more flexible team setup if he ever came to MLB. The key for Japanese hitters is comfort and consistent playing time, something that would be difficult to guarantee in Los Angeles. The other angle is timing. Murakami's potential posting could come after Ohtani has fully resumed his two-way role, which would lock up the DH position completely. If Ohtani begins pitching again in 2026, he'll still require regular DH days to manage his workload. That would leave Murakami with only third base as an option, and unless his defense improves significantly, the Dodgers are unlikely to take that risk. Some scouts have suggested Murakami could eventually transition to first base full-time, given his strong hands and power profile. But again, that's Freddie Freeman's domain, and Freeman's contract runs through at least 2027. There's simply no opening for the foreseeable future. Even off the field, the dynamic could be tricky. Ohtani is already the face of Japanese baseball in Los Angeles, commanding enormous fan attention and sponsorships. Introducing another Japanese superstar might divide attention or create unintended media comparisons between the two. While both men are professionals, the constant spotlight and expectations could weigh on Murakami, who's still maturing as an athlete. It's also important to recognize that Ohtani's influence within the Dodgers organization is immense. He has earned a level of respect that allows him input into certain team matters, from training routines to public appearances. Murakami would enter that environment as a newcomer, with much to prove. Adjusting to the hierarchy of MLB, especially in a clubhouse filled with superstars, could be a difficult challenge. There's no doubt Murakami's power would translate to some extent in the majors. His natural strength, bat speed, and ability to drive the ball to all fields are elite. But MLB isn't just about raw ability, it's about adaptability. Players who succeed are those who can evolve, and to do that, Murakami will need room to make mistakes, adjust, and find his rhythm. The Dodgers, as a win-now team, don't always provide that luxury. A more rebuilding or transitional team might give Murakami that space. For example, the Chicago White Sox or Washington Nationals could offer him regular playing time, patience, and a chance to grow into his role without the suffocating pressure of a championship chase. Once he proves himself, he could later move to a contender under more favorable circumstances. Historically, Japanese hitters who've made successful MLB transitions, like Ichiro Suzuki and Hideki Matsui, joined teams that gave them time and clear roles. Ichiro thrived in Seattle because the Mariners built their lineup around his skills. Matsui found comfort in New York because he filled an immediate need as the Yankees' primary DH. Murakami, to follow in their footsteps, will need a similar setup, and right now, the Dodgers can't offer that. The Dodgers' current depth chart also shows little flexibility in payroll or roster space for another star. They've invested heavily in young prospects, signaling that their long-term future lies in developing internal talent rather than purchasing more headline names. Signing Murakami might excite fans for a moment, but it would go against the front office's disciplined, analytics-based strategy. On the flip side, a team like the Mariners could be a perfect match. Seattle has a strong connection to Japanese baseball history, a passionate fanbase that respects Japanese culture, and a lineup that could use more left-handed power. Pairing Murakami with Julio Rodriguez would create a balanced and exciting core, one that could grow together for years. If Murakami truly wants to emulate Ohtani's success, he needs to find a team that lets him be himself, one that values his power and personality rather than forcing him into an existing structure. The Dodgers, for all their prestige, might not allow that freedom. In the end, the discussion around Murakami and the Dodgers highlights an important truth about modern baseball: fit matters as much as talent. Even the best players can struggle if placed in the wrong situation. Murakami's journey to MLB will be closely watched, and while the Dodgers may be a glamorous option, they are far from the ideal one. For now, Murakami's focus remains on refining his game in Japan, improving his defensive versatility, and preparing mentally for the cultural shift ahead. Wherever he lands in MLB, he'll carry the weight of expectation, not just from Japanese fans, but from a global audience eager to see if he can replicate his historic NPB success on the biggest stage of all. But unless the Dodgers make drastic lineup changes or open up a new role, the fit simply doesn't make sense. Even American analysts who admire his talent agree, Murakami's best path forward lies somewhere else.